Hello, hello. Give everyone a few minutes to get on here. Few moments, really. Hi there, everyone. Thank you very much for being here at tonight's seller webinar. We will discuss a few things, a quick market update, discuss some selling options available here in Arizona, talk about some free tools and resources, and then have the live Q&A on the end. I know that life is busy. I know that your time is valuable, and I want to make the most of yours. So let's just give it like a minute just to make sure that we have folks join here. If you are out there driving, please don't put anything in the chat, right? Don't touch your phone, none of that. Just listen, right? Just listen. But if not, I welcome you to let me know where are you from? All right, where are you listening from? Are you here in the Phoenix area, or are you listening from out of state? I know we have hit the 100-degree mark, and a lot of folks decide to hightail it out of town. So I wondered if you were one of them. Or maybe you're a winter visitor and you're just wondering what's happening down here with your home, and you're looking in from Alaska or from Chicagoland area, or Seattle, or California, New York, wherever. Just we welcome you. Thank you very much for joining here. I know that your time is valuable, and I have some information here for you tonight, just an update as to what is happening in the Phoenix real estate market. Also to give you an idea of some selling options that are available to you, and then we'll have a bit of a Q&A at the end. Just give it one more minute, and then we will begin. Great. I'm doing not 5 different streams at the same time, but this works well. Fantastic. Well, peeps, again, I thank you for your time. I am Natasha Tomlinson, a realtor here in Arizona, a license in 2005. So yeah, that was 20 years ago. And I'm here to help you make an informed, pressure-free decision. Just really get you armed and dangerous with information about our market and your selling options. So whether you're in a tough spot and you had some type of life event or job loss, and you're wondering what to do with this home, or you're just curious really what is happening in this marketplace, we're going to review it all tonight. So we will do an Arizona market update. We'll review the selling options available to you, touch on instant offers, cash offers, traditional selling methods, and what that looks like in today's market, creative financing offers as well. We'll discuss some free tools and resources that are available to you, and then we will do a live question and answer, a live Q&A at the end. All right, so hang in there with me. Let's begin. All right. Folks, let's talk about what is really happening in the Arizona real estate market right now, because whether you're thinking of selling tomorrow or you're just kind of curious, the numbers matter, right? The market has been through a roller coaster, right, over the last 5 years. Like Space Mountain, but with mortgage rates and Zillow price alerts. We've dealt with red hot bidding wars of 2020 and 2021, late 2020, right? And a reality check of late 2022, 2023 to the more manageable numbers of today. And sometimes it feels like we're in a bit of a holding pattern. Think of it like trying to steer this huge cargo ship with this, twitchy rudder, right? There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of shaking and jarring, but there's not a clear turn. It's not moving, right? The market in recent years, it's been up, it's been down, it's been sideways, and right now we're just kind of coasting. We're sailing away, right? Now, touching on inventory and supply, there is some good news for sellers on supply. The good news is that it stopped rising. We don't have a bunch of new listings coming to the market. However, demand is down over the past month. The number of listings under contract also declines, right? So for now, mortgage rates are still hovering around that 7% number. And of course, a lot goes into that mortgage rate depending on your financial situation. But just so you know, that's about where we're hovering around. Seller concessions and buy downs. Seller concessions to buy down the interest rate they've become more commonplace. Over 50% of all sales include some form of concession at this point, and the average concession is around $10,000. The average price of a home in the greater Phoenix metro area is currently sitting at $458,999, and that is 0.7% more than this time last year. 0.7%. Okay. Those who want really low rates are finding that many home builders are willing to entertain interest rate buy downs for those who qualify for the loan. And you're looking at more of a 4.99% in that range at the new home builders lately. Okay. The greater Phoenix area real estate market, it continues to shift, with the majority of cities moving towards more balanced and more buyer-friendly conditions. Now, some would say, some areas are still in a slight seller's market. So this isn't just a very broad discussion at this point. So currently, the cities that are in a slight seller's market are Anthem, El Mirage, Apache Junction, Avondale, Tolleson, Chandler, and Fountain Hills. And those that are in a balanced market at this time, where the amount of supply and the amount of demand are pretty equal, would be Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale, Paradise Valley, and Gilbert, along with Mesa, Tempe, Cave Creek, and Laveen. And then the remaining cities are in a buyer's market where there is more supply, more homes available than folks looking in those areas. And those areas tend to be the areas with more new home activity. And that would be Santan, Queen Creek, let's see here, Sun City West, Sun Lakes, Arizona City, Casa Grande, Litchfield Park. All right. And those offer increased opportunities for home buyers seeking more inventory and negotiating power. So even in these balanced markets, it's important to remember that we're creating these win-win situations for both buyers and sellers. No one is giving away their home per se, because know that they could just take their house on the market. If there isn't a need for someone to sell right now, then my feeling is that they should not be on the market. That's just this is not a test the market type of scenario. So what are homes actually selling for? Okay. The median price in the greater Phoenix area is up just 0.7% from this time last year. Sellers are getting on average of like 97% of their last list price, just slightly below where we were this time last year. And in hot prices, and that would be houses under 400,000, sellers are pulling in close to their list price, and that is not factoring in concessions and not factoring in any compensation that's being paid. So all this to say is that this isn't 2021 anymore, and no one is asking you to waive everything but your firstborn child, but to remember that we are engaging in smart negotiations and that communication is key. All right. Now, we do expect buyer demand to increase, and here's why. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. but here's why we do expect buyer demand to increase. The wages in the Phoenix area are up 9.3% from March 2024 to March 2025, according to the Business Journal's Bureau of Labor Statistics. Say that 5 times fast, right? Then year over year inflation in Phoenix has increased just 0.3%. We had an increase of 0.3% in inflation, according to the Common Sense Institute. Okay. And then there's a blog floating around out there that states that domestic migration, so Americans moving in and out of Maricopa County, that number of people that are moving is down by about 1,900 people. But when you look at overall migration for Arizona, we have an increase in migration patterns. And that increase is in Maricopa County at 9% increase of our population. I mean, you can feel it on the roads, can't you? And in the supermarkets, you know, trying to getting doctor's appointments, all of those things, you can feel it. There's a sense that there's more folks. And then in Pinal County has seen the largest increase at 53% increase, according to the U.S. Department of Commerce, according to the Census Bureau. And so why? You're like, why are these people moving here? Well, it's a combination of things. It's not just retirees and folks looking at second homes. More people are looking here as a retirement destination and to be here on more of a full-time basis, because we do have a lot of amenities for seniors, medical care, communities geared towards a 55 plus community. But we're not just a sleepy town anymore. We've got jobs. Okay. And if you want to live the life of your dreams, you have to make the money, right? And that's where the jobs come in, and Arizona has those. GTI Energy is expected to bring 600 jobs to the Goodyear area in 2026. And a lot of the larger companies are gearing up as well. So again, quick snapshot. We have the weak sellers market, right? The balanced markets and the buyer's market are slight sellers market. Our weak sellers market are Anthem, Apache Junction, Avondale, Chandler, El Mirage, Fountain Hills, and Tolleson, right? Plenty going on in Tolleson. And then our buyers markets are the 55 plus community, a lot because most people who are in those communities tend to be second home, and they tend to go to cooler temps this time of year. So Sun City West, Sun Lakes, Arizona City, Litchfield Park, Casa Grande, those are our buyers markets at this time. So depending on where you live, you could be in a buyer's market, a balanced one. It just really is important to realize the point that I'm driving home here is that pricing strategy is key, right? So the keys takeaways is what this means for sellers is that to win right now, you need a solid pricing strategy. You need a property that shows well and smells well, both in person and online. I mean, there's no smell-o-vision, but it's presented well online. The flexibility to negotiate without leaving, a bunch of coins on the table, right? And hey, if you are looking for that custom market report, just type in your zip code or even your street. You may not want to do that on here because anyone can see it, but feel free to message me and I'll show you how to access all of that information at the end of tonight's webinar. All right. So now that you've got the lay of the land, let's talk a little bit about strategy, because how you sell matters just as much as what you sell for. So up next, I'll walk you through all the different selling options available here in Arizona, from instant cash offers to creative finance strategies and everything in between. All right, now that we know Arizona market is doing well. It's a robust market. We have more people here than ever before, moving here, thriving here. So let's shift gears into how. How do we do this? And the truth is, there's no one size fits all when it comes to selling your home. The stick a sign in the yard and pray is not a strategy. All right. You've got options, so let's break them down. Option one is the instant cash offer option. And this is kind of like the fast food of home selling. It's quick, it's convenient, and you know exactly what you're getting up front. Your instant cash offers are great for folks who you want it fast, you want it done. All right. You have an inherited property, you're done being a landlord, you're going through a divorce, maybe that situation, the instant cash offer may work for you. You're moving out of area, you're relocating out of state, and it may make sense. And you just don't want the showings and the open houses and all that goes with it. And these buyers typically don't ask for repairs. They don't need you to paint walls and drywall repair, replace roofs and AC units and remodel kitchens. None of that. Okay. It is as is, where it is, and done. But let's be real. Convenience has a cost. And that's the case with anything, right? I mean, you go to the supermarket, even on a very basic level. All right. If you want to make a salad, it costs one price. And then if you want something prepared for you, the price is more. Well, if you want the convenience, if you want the reduced hassle that's involved with selling a house, there is a cost to that convenience. And they let you know what that is up front. And let's be, so, and that cost could be a 5 to 10% net loss than a traditional sale. So you could get 5 to 10% less with an instant cash offer versus going to market on a traditional sale. So if top dollar is a priority to you, this may not be the move for you. Okay. But if you need peace of mind and you need a guaranteed close, then this could be a fantastic tool. So I do offer a free, no obligation, instant cash offer through my platform. So I'll drop the link in the chat. And, if you are just curious what a cash offer looks like today, then put your address in there and you'll get a few offers and see if any of those work for you. Now, and some of them are a little creative. Some are just flat out cash, and some are, if you can get the cash and then you can do a little bit of work, you can get more cash, whatever. There's all sorts of options. That's what we're providing people, options. Okay. Now, a second way to sell would be the traditional listing, the classic, right? And this one you've seen on HGTV. You've seen it, the professional photos, the videos, the open houses, the sign in the yards, and they're showing off the home. They're selling sunsets, right? With more real estate facts and fewer stilettos. In my case, no stilettos. Forget that. All right. Those days are over. Anyway, so why go traditional? Because this is how you get the most money. Is you go to market, you open it up to the open market, especially if your home is in good condition and you are not in a hurry. Okay. The average time on market in the greater Phoenix area right now is hovering around 40 days. And that is the time between you list it to the time you go under contract. And then there's additional time to close, right? Now, depending on your city and your price point, negotiations are tight and you'll get close to asking, 97% of your last list price. So when you work with me, I do handle the marketing, the pricing, the showings, negotiations, timelines, paperwork, and make sure that you don't leave money on the table. End of story. All right. This is also a great fit if you've done some updates to the property. If the property is well maintained, you think curb appeal, think updated kitchens, think clean, spacious spaces. Traditional selling is something you may want to consider. Now, let's touch base on seller financing and loan assumptions, shall we? Here we go. Excuse me. Okay. Now here's where it gets a little fun right? Where you can really stand out in a shifting market. Let's say you own a home free and clear, or maybe you've got an amazing loan with a super low interest rate. You may be sitting on a gold mine and you don't even know it, right? Let's talk about seller financing first. And that means that you, the seller, you, the owner, become the bank. The buyer pays you monthly, just like they do the mortgage, and instead you earn the interest instead of Mr. Cooper, okay, or Loan Depot, or any of those companies. This can attract buyers who can afford the payments but may not qualify traditionally. And this is huge in a high interest rate environment, in today's interest rate environment. And I don't even put that out there. Never mind. Okay. You can command a higher sales price and generate monthly income, which, I mean, that's a win-win, isn't it? So options include, owner carryback for a part of the price or the full amount. You could do a rent to own, which would be like a lease purchase, a lease option. Or you could do a wrap mortgage. That would be an exact wrap. And that would be if you still have a loan on the property. Now, there are pros and cons of this, just like there are pros and cons of everything. And you typically get a faster sale, okay? We're not waiting on the lender. We're not waiting on all their guidelines to be met. We're not waiting. So closings tend to happen more quickly. You tend to garner a higher sales price, okay? You can often get top dollar, or even a little more, depending on the market and what the inventory looks like and a number of other factors, because you're offering flexible terms, okay? You have monthly income. So instead of a lump sum, if this works for you, you would get consistent monthly payments. Think of it like mailbox money, right? And it helps buyers qualify. So this opens the door to buyers who are solid, but may not fit into strict lending boxes. Now, a few things to consider. You're the bank, right? Which means you got to vet the buyer, all right? And I can certainly help you with that. And, it's a bit of a shift in mindset, if you will. Right? You get paid over time. So if you need all of your equity now, this is not the greatest solution for you, unless you get a sizable down payment. Okay. And then you stay involved in the property. You're not a landlord. If something happens with the property, they own it. Okay. The buyer owns it. So you're not coming over to fix toilets or the roof or the AC or any of that. Okay. You're the bank, okay? You're not the landlord. So that's a switch. But there's still paperwork that needs to be handled. There's still tax records. And I would strongly suggest using a third-party servicing company in order to facilitate those payments. But the bottom line is that seller financing can really be an amazing tool when used correctly. But again, it's not for everyone. And if you own your home free and clear, or you have a great deal of equity, this could be a smart way to sell and still generate some mailbox money. Okay. Now, loan assumptions. Let's talk about loan assumptions for VA and FHA, because conventional loans are typically not assumable. Okay. So if you have a VA loan, an FHA loan with a crazy low rate that starts with a 1 or 2 or a 3, that loan can be transferred to a qualified buyer. And that's a game changer. This is a dream for buyers in 2025, right? It makes your home way more attractive compared to competing listings with a 7+% interest rate. And these strategies are perfect for free and clear homeowners or sellers in pre-foreclosure who need to attract buyers without a discount. Now, real quick, I don't work with these subject to deals, okay? Though that's an option for people. And it can be a great option, but there's a number of things to look for, and that is just one avenue I don't delve into. It's a whole different ball game with its own set of risks, and I would strongly suggest you seek legal guidance before entering into any subject to deal, regardless of whether you're on the buy side or the sell side. Okay, enough. Next. So let's talk about the perks of the loan assumption. The low interest rate transfers. Okay, so that's gold. And buyers love that, especially with today's rates still hovering much higher than 2, 3, 4%, right? We're saying interest rates are in the sevens. So you stand out, your listing stands out. A home with an assumable loan is a huge advantage in a competitive market. And you tend to have faster closings because no appraisal is involved. That speeds things up a bit. But I will caution you that it does depend on the lender, which moves faster than the other. And then you do have fewer closing costs. And buyers may save fees compared to getting a new mortgage. But again, with everything, there are pros and there are cons. So with loan assumptions, the buyer must qualify. The days of no qual loan assumptions, I mean, that was a long time ago. All right. Those are not around. Okay. So the buyer still has to go through the approval process with the lender. Okay. It is not an automatic assumption. Right. And then you have that gap in equity. If you got a lot of equity, the buyer must cover the difference in cash or with a second loan. So it's ideal when your loan balance is close to your home's value, right? Now, which option is right for you? Right? So whether you want the speed of a cash offer, the top dollar of a traditional sale, the monthly cash flow of seller financing, there's a strategy for you. And all other options we did discuss today, there's a strategy for you. So I can certainly send you the link, provide the link with my personal recommendation. I want to give you guys a free copy of my guide, Top 10 Mistakes that the Arizona Homeowners Make. And it is packed with tips, timelines, and real talk about our market. If you'd like to book a quick call with me to discuss your particular scenario, no pressure, no hard sale, no obligation, just a friendly person in your corner. Let's chat, right? So let's talk about some other options, right? You're like, well, maybe I don't want to sell it. Okay. Maybe I want to rent it out. That's an option, right? Sometimes selling, it just isn't the right move, at least not right now. So you may consider turning your home into a rental property. And that's a great way to hold onto your assets, build equity, and generate monthly income, especially if your mortgage is low or paid off. And hey, Arizona's rental market, is steady, right? It's certainly steady. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a number of people moving here. We have a net positive migration from Maricopa and Pinal counties. So if you're looking for a long-term tenant, traveling nurses, corporate executives, furnished mid-time rentals, turning your property into a rental property could be ideal for you. And if this sounds interesting, I can certainly connect you with trusted property managers and help you run the numbers. All right. I've helped plenty of sellers pivot to landlord mode and keep the stress low. Okay. So another option for those of you out there that may be having trouble with your mortgage payment. Okay. Please contact your lender. Okay. In Arizona, 90 days late, 91st day, you get an auction date. Okay. And then the process moves fairly quickly from there. So There may be still a chance for some sort of loan workout, a loan modification, maybe chance for a forbearance, and give you time to catch your breath. Know that you've got options, right? So if you're behind on your mortgage, if you are struggling financially, you may not be in a position to sell or rent it out right now, and that's okay, right? No, there's other paths for you. Like I mentioned, loan modification, where the lender adjusts your payment terms to make them more manageable for a period of time. Or if you just need time to get back on your feet, forbearance may be an option, and that could cause payments temporarily without damaging your long-term options. But both options involve you calling your lender. Okay. These are not permanent fixes. Okay. And there are changes coming down the pike for both VA and FHA loans. So please, time is of the essence with these things. But they can buy you time, when you figure out what your long-term strategy is. And guess what? I've got resources and referrals for you to help you navigate that scenario. All right. So let's see here. Yeah. Let's skip all that mumbo jumbo, right? Okay. So with that said, you're saying, you know what? I'm not ready to move. I just wanted the information. Okay, that's good. Trust your gut. Okay. Sometimes that's the smartest move, is to stay put for now. And I support that decision 100%. Like I said, no hard selling. Not for me. Okay. My goal isn't to talk you into anything. My purpose is to help you understand the options available to you, and whether it's selling, renting, a loan modification, whether you're in a short sale situation, whatever the case may be, and just take a breath and figure things out. So if you're not sure which way to go, you just need to talk things out, schedule a call. 15 minutes. We'll chat about your scenario and see if I can offer any options for you. Just know that you are not alone in this. The more you know, the more power you have. So let's figure out what works for you. Right. All right. We've covered the market. We've discussed some selling options and even what to do if selling isn't in your plan right now. So let's be real. We can talk about all these things, but a game plan is what we need, because this isn't a one size fits all kind of deal. It's your situation, your timeline, and your goals, and they all matter. So let's talk now about building your custom exit strategy today. All right. Again, I am offering that 15-minute consultation, just you and me, you talking, me listening. All right. And if you're curious and you're ready to roll, then we will map out your next move. No pressure and no fluff. And if you're not ready, then how about a free home value estimate? I'll send you that personalized report showing you what your home could realistically sell for in today's market. No guessing games. All right. And before you make any decisions, again, grab my guide, Top 10 Mistakes That Arizona Homeowners Make When Selling, and no emotional pricing, staging slip-ups, curb appeal killers, you name it. You'll feel more confident after this download. And if you're looking for a cash offer, you're curious of what that looks like, if you're thinking of selling, I don't want to clean, I don't want to show, none of that. I just want a number, Natasha. Give me the facts, just the facts. Well, submit your address below and we will provide you with a cash offer, no obligation. Perfect for busy sellers, for landlords, for folks who just want to move on. All right. Now, if you're a planner and you love the tools that are available to you, I've got a custom seller questionnaire. I've got a weekly newsletter that I generate, monthly market report for your properties. So reach out. So whether you're ready to sell, you're still unsure, or you're just curious, now more than most homeowners out there, options, you have a little bit of insight, and you have support. Okay. I'm here to walk you through it all. So let's connect, schedule that call, download your guide, request your cash offer, or just stay in the loop with my weekly newsletter, right? Whatever you choose, just know you don't have to figure it out alone. Let's build your plan your way. And hey, I will see you right here next Wednesday for the next live session. Real options, real relief. That's what I do. So I did promise that question and answer period, and we're here, right? So what do you got? What do you got? Give it to me. Ask the what ifs. Ask, like they say, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Just ask the question. All right. Should I wait to sell until rates drop? The rate drop question. Great question. Remember, real estate, residential real estate, primary residence, you're purchasing your home. It's a personal choice. If the move makes sense for you now, the market can work around with strategy. Okay. So what you're like, what do you mean by that? Okay. Every time rates drop, okay, more buyers enter the marketplace because they qualify. Those people who didn't qualify. Those who qualified for a portion now qualify for more. Okay, so that's more people entering into the marketplace and will lead to less houses on the market, more activity, less houses on the market. And if we get low enough with the number of houses on the market, a lot of the incentives that are offered today will not be around anymore. So if you are someone who needs concessions to help you with a purchase, to help buy down your interest rate, to pay for some of the closing costs out there, then this is a great market for you. If you are self-employed and you're looking for a bit of creative financing, this is a great market for you. First-time home buyer, not looking to be involved in multiple offer situations, want to go through the traditional home buying process of appraisal and inspections and reviewing all your documents, time to review it without being rushed. This is the market for you. Okay, if you have a house to sell and you're going to buy another house, this is the market for you. Yeah. So again, it kind of depends on your scenario. If you're done being a landlord, all right, your current tenant's lease is getting ready to expire and you're ready to buy into a different market, you're like, Arizona, it's been good to me. I see other opportunities. It's time for me to cash out. This is the market for you. Okay. So that's why I say it's personal. Okay. Another question here. Okay. What happens to my credit if I sell before a foreclosure? All right. Great question. And thank you for posting that in here. Selling before an auction is often much better than just letting the home go to foreclosure. Okay. For instance, if you let the home go to foreclosure, it's 7 years before you can qualify for a government-backed loan again. Typically it's seven years before you will be able to buy again. And people say, oh, I'm never going to do this again. Folks, I have helped many people who had a foreclosure or a short sale, 2008, 9, 10, 11. And they all said the same thing, never going to buy again, never going to do this again. And, things change. Your mindset change. Your circumstances change. Life moves on. So I would say to you, it's a lot going on in life when that situation arises. I'm sure. But I would caution you to look at the options are available to you and not just let your house go to foreclosure. Doing a short sale, let's say that you owe more on the property than the house is worth today. And that is the case for some folks who bought, in the last year or two. We haven't seen the amount of appreciation that we saw, 5+ years ago. So some folks may be upside down is what we call it if they didn't put a lot of money down. And in that case, if you ended up doing what's called a short sale and the bank is involved agreeing to allow you to sell the property for less than is owed, then your credit can be affected anywhere from to say like 4 years, depending on your loan type and different circumstances. So it does cut that time down. Your credit is not as affected. And as we know, credit drives everything now, right? Insurance and credit cards and all sorts of, some jobs are credit driven. So let's minimize the damage, not maximize it. All right. Next question. Do I have to wait until my lease expires to sell my rental property? Great question. And the answer is no, you don't have to wait. Okay. But I do want to talk to you about what that looks like. Okay. On a vacant house, selling a vacant house when a tenant isn't there versus selling a property that has a tenant. Okay. Because the tenant has certain rights and there's certain requirements to give them notice to enter, and that could be challenging when it comes to showing the property. But we do have creative ways of getting that done, so we can certainly talk about that. Please schedule some time, 15 minutes, no obligation, to discuss that further. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, how do I sell my house with tenants in it? During that call, we go over tenant cooperation, what that looks like. We cover the notice that needs to be given to the tenant in order to enter the property, condition of the property, pictures, all of that. Yes. Here we go. Can I still sell my house while I live there? Yes, great question. And a lot of people do. I was out showing this weekend. I would say like 80-85% of the houses were occupied. Okay, tenant occupied, owner occupied. Okay, so there are ways to keep it, minimize the stress involved with that, and keep it clean without losing your mind. Okay, so yes, that can be done. Okay, can I sell if I have no equity, if I owe too much? Okay, so I say there, it depends. What do I mean by that? Okay, I know most people don't like that answer. What do I mean by that? There are traditional and creative options, and we can explore them together on that 15-minute call. So if you have little to no equity, you could sell the property, yes, but you alone are not involved in that decision. Okay. And yes, we've done short sales before. Okay. We haven't had many short sales in the last few years, so you won't find everyone screaming at the top of the hill that they do them. But I've been around a while, so yes, I do short sales. So yes, it can be done, but it does require bank approval, and we facilitate that as well once you get an offer and all that. Okay. So schedule that 15-minute call, discuss your situation. Make sure that you don't have equity. I mean, I don't know where you're getting that number from, where you know that your property is in a negative equity situation. So that would be step one. Give you an idea of where your value is today, what the condition of the property is, timelines, all of that. All right. So let's chat. Okay. Any other questions? Any others? I know your time is valuable. I want to make sure that we get to them. Yeah. Okay. What should I know about selling my mom's house? Well, do you have the authority to sell your mom's house? That would be question number one. What's the situation there? Are you helping your mom sell the house, or is there a reason she can't make the decision on her own. Are we, what are we talking about here? So is your mom moving in with you? Is the house more than she can handle at this point in time? Is it an inherited property situation? Whatever the case, let's schedule a chat and we can go from there. Okay, great. How fast can I get a cash offer and close? Well, you'll get the preliminary cash offer within a few hours of submitting your information. Then more cash offers will roll in within the next 48 hours. We can review those together because they all have a little different nuances to them. And then they typically close 21 days. Okay, it really depends on what you need. It depends on if there's a homeowners association or not. Depends on if the title, if there's any challenges with the title report. There's all sorts of things. But I would say 21 days with a cash offer. Okay. What's the difference between a cash offer and listing on the MLS? The difference would be the speed versus top dollar. Okay. That's the main difference between the two. Because, right, someone comes with a loan, at the end of the day, it's cash to you, right? But there's a lot of conditions with that loan, right? There could be, is that with the buyer and the buyer's financial health, with the appraisal issues that may come up, the condition of the house. These things come up with a loan. Okay. With cash is cash. All right. It's there. It's ready to go. Close this bad boy. How do you know what your home is worth? Yes, markets do shift. We are in a shifting market. So what we do is we provide you with a free home value estimate, okay, based on what has sold in the last 90 days in your area within a certain age range, square footage range, things of that nature. Try to compare it to any other upgrades that may be in the area. And we just give you a high and a low range because I haven't seen your home. Right. So I can't really be exact with that figure, but I can certainly give you an idea of what is happening in the area and how that relates to your property. Right. What should I do if I'm thinking of selling this year? Schedule a call so we understand what your timelines are. We map out a plan and then you take it from there. Keep them coming. Any other questions? I'll answer as many as I can. And if I don't get to yours, then we can definitely go over it on the follow-up session on that 15-minute call, folks. We can certainly do it then. No? All right. Well, before we wrap up tonight, here's a quick checklist of everything for you to grab for today's session. And I'll make sure that it is in the description. You have your free 15-minute call. You have your free guide. You have your instant cash offers, no obligation, no commitment. And then you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter, giving you quick, helpful action items related to Arizona real estate. So again, whether you're ready to list, you're still gathering information, or you're just kind of like taking a look behind the curtain to see what the next chapter could look like. I'm glad that you joined me today. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. You could have been anywhere else right now, right? It's wind down Wednesday. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? But today you chose to invest your time and your knowledge, investing in your knowledge, investing in your future. And that says a lot about you. And I thank you for that time. So remember, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here for whatever questions that you may have regarding Arizona real estate. Just reach out. So I see we have a couple one-on-one calls this week, and I am looking forward to speaking to you all. Otherwise, I will be here next Wednesday, live session, same time, same energy. The link may change, so feel free to watch out for that. Otherwise, I am Natasha Tomlinson signing off with real options and real relief. Catch you soon.